The Galactic Council Hall floated in silent orbit above the bright star Aldros. Stars glowed through its crystal walls, turning the chamber into a sea of light. Leaders from 23 alien species sat around a long circular table, their faces calm on the outside but restless within. Something strange had happened 2 days ago. A signal, a whisper from the farthest edge of known space. No one understood it. No one wanted to understand it. Only one person stood in the center of the hall with a serious face. Aaron Solis, the human diplomat. He was calm, tall, and carried the quiet confidence humans were known for. But today, his voice carried a tension no one could ignore. He raised a small device. It projected the signal waveform above the hall, thin, shaking lines like the heartbeat of a dying creature. "This came from the outer void," Aaron said. "It is not a mistake. It is not a glitch. Whoever sent this is older than your empires, older than this council. We must not answer it." Many alien leaders showed mild interest, but none showed fear. The Mirith speaker flicked her silver wings and laughed softly. "Humans see danger everywhere. This is only distorted space noise." The Tharn general crossed his 4 arms. "Every time humans sense a threat, they prepare for war. But we are not your soldiers." Aaron took a slow breath, controlling the frustration rising in him. "This is not about war," he said. "This is about survival. The signal is not random. It is a search pattern. Something is looking for energy, heat, life." The lights in the hall flickered. Every member turned their head upward. A cold wave passed through the air, so cold their breath turned white. For a brief second, the star outside the window dimmed, like someone placed a shadow over it. The hall fell into stunned silence. Aaron looked around. "Do you see now? This is not normal. Stars do not dim. Not like this. Something is moving in the dark. Something enormous." But the council still did not accept it. The Ralvan chancellor shook his head. "Stars can fluctuate. Space is full of strange reactions. Your fears are unnecessary." Aaron stepped forward and pressed another button on his device. A low vibration filled the room. The waveform on the hologram twisted violently, and a whisper echoed across the hall. A whisper that did not belong to any living species. "We see you." The sound was soft but sharp, like cold metal sliding across stone. Every leader froze. Eyes widened. Hands trembled for a brief moment. But then they forced themselves back into calmness. "It is probably interference," one said. "A translation error," another added. But Aaron knew the truth. He had heard that voice before, years ago during a human deep space exploration mission that vanished without explanation. Only fragments of recordings were recovered, and this voice sounded exactly the same. He looked around the room slowly. "You are ignoring the biggest danger your galaxy has ever faced. You believe your fleets, your weapons, your shields make you safe. They do not. Not this time." The Mirith speaker lifted her chin. "Then what do you suggest? Hiding? Running? Begging for mercy from a shadow?" "No," Aaron said. "I suggest silence. Do not answer the signal. Do not send any energy pulse back. Do not show them where we are." His tone was sharp, controlled, almost cold. For the first time, some council members hesitated. Fear flickered behind their eyes, but pride held their tongues. "We will take a vote," the chancellor finally said. "If the majority believes the signal is a threat, we will act. Until then, we continue observing." Aaron felt the weight of a galaxy falling on his shoulders. He knew what the vote would be. He knew they would choose comfort over truth. He lowered his head for a moment, then looked back at them with steady eyes. "Do what you want," he said softly. "But the void does not care about votes." As he turned to leave, the hall suddenly trembled. A deep echo rolled through the structure, almost like a distant roar. The lights flickered once more, then steadied. The council panicked for a moment. But as soon as the shaking stopped, they pretended nothing happened. Aaron walked toward the exit, his steps slow and heavy. Behind him, one of the younger alien advisors whispered to her elder, "Is it coming for us?" The elder replied, "No. Shadows cannot move across stars. It is only fear playing tricks." But Aaron knew better. He glanced through the huge glass window before leaving. Far across the star field, something dark moved. A massive shape sliding between distant stars, swallowing their light as it passed. Only he saw it. Only he believed what it meant. The first warning had come, and the galaxy had ignored it. Aaron whispered to himself, "They still don't understand. But they will, soon." He walked out of the hall, knowing the next signal would not be a whisper. It would be a message no one could escape. The void had awakened, and it had seen them. The council hall remained bright and calm, but the fear from the first meeting did not fade. Even though most leaders pretended the warning meant nothing, every species secretly increased patrols around their borders. No one admitted it, but everyone felt the same cold pressure inside their chest. Meanwhile, human diplomat Aaron Solis walked through the long metal corridor outside the council hall. He looked out a window at the quiet starfield and tried to steady his breathing. Something had changed in the galaxy, something ancient and dangerous. He felt it in the silence between the stars. He had barely reached his ship when the emergency alarms rang across the entire station. A red light filled the halls. A vibrating voice announced, "All sectors alert. Unknown signal spreading at high speed. Origin, outer void." Aaron froze. Not again. Not this soon. He rushed toward the command deck, and when the doors opened, screens all around flickered with the same message. A new signal. Stronger. Clearer. And heading straight toward inhabited systems. Council officers panicked. Some shouted orders, others tried to decode the sound, while a few simply stared at the screens in fear. Aaron stepped forward. "Play the signal," he said quietly. The officers hesitated, then obeyed. A deep sound filled the room, slow, heavy, and too steady to be natural. The waveform pulsed like a heartbeat, but not from any creature they knew. Then came the whisper. Soft, deep, cold. "We are close." The sound ended. Silence filled the room like a thick fog. One officer turned pale. It learned our language. On the first signal, it only said 2 words. Now it speaks more. Aaron shook his head. "No, it is not learning. It already knows us." One commander slammed his fist on the console. "This is impossible. We scanned the outer void for centuries. Nothing lives there." Aaron replied calmly, "Something does now." A communication alert blinked on the screen. One of the border planets, Hellos Prime, was reporting strange readings. Then another alert appeared. And another. The same pattern was spreading across 18 sectors. Aaron stepped closer. "What is the pattern?" The officer answered in a shaking voice. "Light is fading from their skies. Stars are dimming. Energy reactors are dropping. Power is being drained." Everyone in the room stared at the data in disbelief. "Stars don't dim like that," whispered one scientist. "Not unless something pulls the energy out." Another officer added, "If this keeps spreading, entire planets will go dark." Aaron felt a cold spike run down his spine. "This is what I warned the council about," he said. "This is not a creature. It is not an army. It is a hunger. Something old. Something that feeds on light." Then a loud alert cut him off. Emergency loss of contact with Hellos Prime. The sound echoed like a death bell. Every officer turned toward the central screen, where Hellos Prime's data suddenly flatlined. Temperature, biomass, atmosphere, power, everything dropped to 0. Gone. In seconds. The room shook with shock. A commander yelled, "Did someone attack them?" "No explosions detected," an officer replied. "No signs of war. Just silence." Aaron whispered, "It consumed the whole planet." The officers froze at those words. Then, suddenly, a new message appeared on the main screen. It was short, but it felt like a knife sliding into the heart of the room. "Third signal coming. Estimated arrival, 2 hours." Aaron stepped back, feeling the weight of the galaxy pressing on his shoulders. The officers finally asked the question they should have asked earlier. "What do we do, Diplomat Solis? What do humans suggest now?" Aaron looked at the screen showing the dead planet. He remembered the warnings from ancient human ruins. He remembered the silence before disaster. He answered slowly, We prepare for evacuation of vulnerable systems. We shut down long-range beacons. We erase our energy trails. We hide. But before they could respond, the doors to the command room swung open, and several council leaders rushed inside. The Mirith speaker shouted, "We just lost our scouts in the Aldrin Pass. No debris. No signal. Only darkness." The Tharn general added, panting, "We scanned the area. There is something there. Something massive. Moving slowly toward our worlds." Everyone looked at Aaron. For the first time, the council leaders carried real fear in their eyes. Not pride. Not arrogance. Fear. The Chancellor stepped forward. "You were right. We ignored the first warning. And now the galaxy is paying the price." Aaron didn't reply. He only watched the stars outside the window. In the darkness, he saw something shift. A massive silhouette passed across a cluster of stars, and those stars dimmed, then vanished. Not covered. Not blocked. Consumed. The council hall alarms screamed again. Third signal approaching. All systems brace. Aaron whispered, "This is only the beginning." He looked at the galaxy map glowing on the wall. Entire sectors were flickering like dying candle flames. Whatever was coming was not stopping, not slowing, not negotiating. The void had found them, and it was hungry. The investigation fleet moved through space in complete silence. No one spoke. No one wanted to. The images of Hello's Prime, once a shining world, now nothing but a dead sphere, still burned in every mind. Aaron Solis stood on the bridge of the human cruiser Horizon Star, staring at the fading glow of the galaxy map. 8 other ships surrounded them, each from a different species, forming a nervous formation as they approached the dead system. The closer they flew, the darker the region became. Stars that should have burned bright appeared pale and weak, like dying embers. Commander Lyra, the human officer in charge of the Horizon Star, looked at Aaron. "Are you sure we should be here?" Aaron nodded slowly. "If we don't investigate, the next world will fall. We need answers." The ship crossed into the Hello's Prime system. Instantly, the temperature inside the ship dropped a few degrees. The lights flickered once, then steadied. Every crew member felt a chill crawl across their skin. Lyra whispered, "What is this? It feels like the whole system is cold." Aaron stepped forward to the window. The star of Hello's Prime, once golden and warm, now glowed weakly like a dying candle. It looked drained, hollow, as if something had taken its fire. Then they saw the planet, a gray sphere, frozen solid, no clouds, no lights, no oceans, no movement. It didn't look destroyed. It looked emptied. One crew member whispered, "How can a whole planet lose all its heat?" No one answered. The fleet moved closer, scanners searching for life. There was none. Not one voice. Not one plant. Not one bacteria. All readings hit 0. Aaron clenched his jaw. This is not an attack. This is feeding. A sudden alarm rang through the scanners. Unknown object detected above the planet's north pole. Everyone turned to the main screen. Floating above the frozen surface was a black sphere, perfectly round, perfectly silent. It absorbed all light around it, like a hole carved into reality. Its surface showed no reflection, no texture, no shape. Only darkness. Lyra whispered, "What is that thing?" Aaron stared hard. "That is not a weapon. It's a probe. A scout. A piece of whatever is coming." The other ships began transmitting messages. "Object is absorbing our scanner signals. Our readings are bouncing back empty. It's pulling light from our ships. Shut down the high beams." Before anyone could react, a whisper filled the Horizon Star. It was not through speakers. It was not through the comm system. It appeared directly inside their minds. "We consume light. We consume life. We are near." Crew members gasped. Some fell back from their stations. One officer pressed her hands against her ears, shaking. "It's inside my head. Get it out. Get it out." Aaron stood firm, jaw tight, breathing steady. He felt the whisper like cold fingers pressing against his thoughts. He whispered back, almost silently. "You're not supposed to be here." For a moment, the whispering stopped. Then the sphere pulsed, just once. A wave of darkness spread out from it like ripples in water. All ships were hit by the shock wave. Lights flickered. Engines coughed. Screens glitched with static. One alien ship, the Varnak Scout, lost power completely and drifted downward toward the frozen planet. Varnak Scout, respond. Respond. No answer. Its gravity stabilizers failed. The ship began falling faster. Aaron shouted, "Track a beam now!" Lyra engaged it, but the beam flickered like a weak flame. "We don't have enough power." The Varnak ship hit the frozen surface with a silent impact. No explosion. Just a soft burst of ice and debris. Dead. The bridge fell silent. Aaron closed his eyes for a moment. "We need to retreat." Before Lyra could respond, the sphere above the planet shifted, turning slowly, almost lazily, as if acknowledging their presence. Then the whisper returned. "You cannot run." The horizon star's lights dimmed again. Panels sparked. Engines groaned. One pilot shouted, "It's draining our reactors." "Pull back," Lyra ordered. "Full reverse." The fleet turned and began to retreat toward the edge of the system. But the darkness followed. Slowly. Patiently. Hungry. The sphere emitted another pulse. This time stronger. All ships shook violently. One of the alien cruisers lost an engine. Another lost its shield. A third ship's lights went completely dark. Aaron grabbed the railing to steady himself. "This is only a scout," he said, voice tense. "Imagine what the main force looks like." When the fleet finally escaped the system, the darkness stopped chasing them. The sphere hovered silently above the frozen planet, like a watchful eye. The Horizon Star's crew sat in heavy silence. Lyra took a shaky breath. "What do we tell the Council?" Aaron stared into the empty void behind them. "The truth." He turned slowly, his eyes cold with certainty. "We are not facing enemies. We are facing extinction. And the Council needs to understand that before the next system goes dark." He looked at the stars ahead, stars that suddenly felt much more fragile. This was only the beginning. The fleet returned to the Council station with heavy hearts. No one celebrated survival. No one spoke about bravery. Every ship carried fear like a silent passenger. The memory of the frozen planet and the black sphere stayed inside their minds, cold and sharp. Aaron Solis stepped out of the Horizon Star and walked through the long glass corridor that led to the Council Hall. He could see the central star of Aldros through the windows. Even that bright star now looked weaker, as if the darkness had touched it too. Council guards rushed past him, their faces pale. Alarm lights flashed across the halls. Messages buzzed through the comms. Something had changed since they left. When Aaron finally reached the Council Hall, the doors swung open, revealing chaos. Leaders from every species were shouting at once. "The sphere destroyed our outposts. 3 colonies are dark. Energy readings are dropping everywhere. No one can stop this thing." The hall that once held pride now held panic. The Chancellor banged the hammer to force silence. "Sit. All of you sit." Slowly, the shouting faded, but the fear remained in the air like smoke. Aaron walked to the center of the hall. All eyes fell on him. The Mirith speaker pointed a trembling wing at him. "You saw it, human. Tell them. Tell them what killed Hello's Prime." Aaron nodded. He pressed a button on his wrist pad. A hologram appeared above the hall. The frozen planet, the dimmed star, the black sphere. A collective gasp filled the room. Aaron spoke slowly, his voice calm but heavy. "This is not a weapon, not a machine, not a ship. It is a scout, a small part of something much larger." The Tharn general bared his fangs in fear. "Larger? That thing drained a planet." Aaron met his eyes. "There are more like it. Many more." A deep silence fell. The Ralvan Chancellor leaned forward. "What does it want?" Aaron walked closer to the hologram. "It wants energy. It wants light. It wants life. It feeds on stars and planets the way we eat food. And it's not stopping." Murmurs filled the hall. Anger. Fear. Denial. A council member slammed his fist. Then we attack. We gather all fleets and destroy it. Aaron shook his head. No. You don't understand. Your weapons will not hurt it. You saw the data. Blasters, plasma, antimatter, they all get absorbed. Another leader shouted, "We should hide our worlds." Aaron replied, "Hide where? This thing follows energy. You cannot mask a planet's heat forever." The council fell silent again. For the first time, they realized the truth. They were not dealing with an enemy that wanted land, power, or control. They were facing a hunger older than their galaxy. The Chancellor finally said, "How do we stop it?" Aaron hesitated. This was the moment he never wanted to face. The moment when humans had to reveal the secret they had held for decades. "There is one option," he said. "But it is dangerous. Very dangerous." All eyes locked on him. Aaron continued, "Humans discovered traces of this creature years ago. Ancient ruins spoke of beings that move through the void, feeding on light. We built a device meant to trap something like this." The Mirith speaker narrowed her eyes. "A human superweapon?" "No," Aaron said firmly. "Not a weapon. A barrier. Cage made of time and gravity. We call it the chrono wall." Whispers erupted across the room. "Time manipulation? Impossible. Humans cannot do that. This is madness." Aaron raised his hand, stopping them. "It is possible. But the device is dangerous because it needs a living mind to control it. A mind strong enough to resist the creature's whispers." The Tharn general growled. "Whispers? You mean that voice we heard?" "Yes," Aaron said. "The creature speaks inside your mind. Non-human species cannot resist it for long. We saw your crews collapse during the investigation." A bitter silence filled the hall. The Chancellor asked, "Who can control this device?" Aaron looked around the hall. Alien eyes watched him with desperation and fear. Then he answered simply, "A human." The hall erupted again. "You want control. This is a human trick. You plan to lead us." But their voices lacked real anger. They were fueled by fear. Aaron raised his voice over the noise. "You think this is about power? About control? This thing does not care about species or borders. It will consume every world, including Earth. Humanity is not safe. No one is." The Chancellor slowly stood. His voice shook. "You humans prepared for this. Why didn't you tell us sooner?" Aaron looked down for a moment. "Because we thought we had more time." He lifted his eyes again. "But now time is over." At that moment, the entire council hall trembled. Lights flickered. A deep, distant rumble echoed through the station. Everyone froze. A message flashed across the main screen. "New dark mass detected. Approaching Aldro's system." Aaron's eyes narrowed as he stared at the data. "It's coming for the council worlds." Fear swept across the hall like a wave. The Chancellor whispered, "What do we do now?" Aaron stepped forward, his voice steady and cold. "We prepare the chrono wall. And we pray we're not already too late." The alarm bells of the council station screamed again and again. Red lights washed over every wall, every corridor, every control panel. Soldiers ran to their posts. Officers shouted commands. Civilians hid in the lower decks. The darkness had arrived. Aaron Solis stood on the upper balcony of the council hall, staring at the giant screens that showed the Aldro system. A black mass, huge, shapeless, slow, moved across the starfield toward the station. It looked nothing like a ship, nothing like a creature. It was just shadow. But that shadow swallowed the light of stars as it passed. The Chancellor's voice trembled. "Deploy the fleets. All of them." Within minutes, thousands of ships rose from the hangars of the council station. They formed a massive formation around Aldros, their engines glowing bright and steady. The Mirith speaker whispered, almost to herself, "May the stars protect us." Aaron did not answer. He knew the truth. Stars could not protect anyone anymore. The fleet advances. The fleet moved forward in a perfect arc. Ships from 23 species glided together, forming a wall of energy and power. The Tharn general's voice boomed through the channel. Prepare heavy blasters. Launch antimatter torpedoes. Charge gravity cannons. The fleets obeyed. Energy crackled across ship surfaces. Weapons locked into place. Engines roared like thunder. Aaron watched quietly from the council hall. Don't do this, he murmured. You're only feeding it. But no one listened. The darkness arrives. The black mass drifted into full view on every screen. It had no eyes, no shape, no form. Just a rolling cloud of deep emptiness. Some officers stared in confusion. This cannot be real. It's not even solid. How do we fight something with no body? Aaron lowered his head. You don't. The darkness pulsed. The star of Aldros flickered violently. And then came the whisper, heard by every living creature in the system. We arrive. A shiver ran through the entire station. The first shot. The Tharn general shouted. All ships, fire. Thousands of beams lit up space like a second sun. Red beams. Blue beams. White-hot plasma. Antimatter torpedoes. Gravity bombs. The most powerful weapons in the galaxy flew toward the black mass. They hit the darkness. And vanished. Every blast was absorbed without a sound. Without a spark. Without a mark. It was like firing into water. The darkness pulsed again. Calm. Almost bored. Then it replied. The counterstrike. A wave of shadow rippled outward. Moving slowly but spreading wide. When it touched the first line of ships, every engine dimmed. When it touched the second line, every weapon shut down. When it reached the third line, every shield collapsed. One pilot screamed through comms. My ship is freezing, systems dropping, can't move. Another cried. It's draining everything, we're losing power. Seconds later, the first ship fell silent. Then the second. Then hundreds more. No explosions. No fire. No debris. Just silence. The fleet, thousands of ships, became dead metal drifting in space. In 23 seconds. The council hall erupted with screams and panic. What is happening? Why aren't our weapons working? It's killing our ships like insects. Aaron stood still, gripping the railing, his eyes cold. He whispered, I warned you. The station under threat. The darkness turned slowly toward the council station. Lights flickered inside the hall. Air became colder. Screens glitched. Power levels dropped. A massive hum vibrated through the structure. The chancellor shouted, Shields up, protect the station. But the shield generators flickered and died before they even activated. The Mirith speaker cried out, It's draining us too. Aaron stepped forward. Evacuate the upper decks. Move people underground. Shut down all non-essential power. Don't give it more light to feed on. The chancellor, desperate, asked, Can the chrono walls stop this? Aaron did not look away from the screens. It can stop something like this. Then we must activate it now. Aaron finally turned to the council. No, not yet. If we activate it too early, it will break. The device was designed for the main core of the creature, not just this swarm. Fear washed over their faces. Then what do? We cannot fight it. We cannot run. We cannot hide. Aaron answered softly. You wait. The last seconds. The darkness closed in on the dead fleet. It moved past drifting ships like a shadow sliding over stones. It did not slow. It did not react. It simply drifted toward the station. The star outside dimmed again. A sickening crack echoed through the station walls. Alarms screamed. Dark mass approaching. Impact in 60 seconds. Everyone froze. Everyone except Aaron. He pressed his wrist pad. A blue hologram appeared. Coordinates, codes, a faint outline of a hidden device. The chrono wall is ready, Aaron said. But if we're going to survive this, one of us must face the whispers directly. The chancellor swallowed. Who can do that? Aaron looked at the darkness closing in. Then he said, A human. The council's fear turned into silence. Outside the windows, The shadow swallowed the first deck of abandoned ships. Aaron stepped toward the doors. "We have one chance left. I will take it." The council chamber felt colder than before. Lights flickered across the tall pillars, and every shadow seemed longer than normal. The leaders of the Unified Species Alliance sat in sharp silence, their faces tight with doubt, pride, and fear. Ambassador Merrick stood in the center. His calm expression did not match the storm that everyone else felt. The alien leaders waited for him to speak. They expected him to argue. They expected him to defend humanity. But Merrick did none of that. Instead, he slowly placed a small silver cube on the table. A soft hum filled the room. Every leader leaned forward. No one dared breathe. "This," Merrick said quietly, "is why the warnings were real." At first, the cube did nothing. Then a beam of light cracked open from its top, forming a floating map of the galaxy. Sectors glowed red, several hundred of them. General Vorka of the Thalen Empire frowned. "What are those marks? Territory you humans want to claim?" Merrick shook his head. "No. These are disappearances." The room tensed. "Disappeared ships?" a councilwoman asked. "No," Merrick answered. "Entire colonies." A low rumble of shock spread through the chamber. Merrick continued, "For years, humans have tracked a pattern. Remote outposts, old mining worlds, abandoned research stations. Whole regions have gone dark. We tried to warn you. You refused to listen." Lord Sither hissed. "If this was true, why hide it?" "We didn't hide it," Merrick replied. "We told you again and again. But you called us paranoid, primitive, emotional. You believed we were trying to start conflict." The silence grew heavier. Merrick tapped the cube again. This time the projection zoomed to a quiet star system. The planets looked lifeless. "This system vanished 20 days ago," Merrick explained. 7,000 people lived there. Humans, Thalen, Iridians, mixed communities. "And you found nothing?" Vorka demanded. Marek's jaw tightened. "We found one thing." The map flickered. A symbol appeared. A spiral made of broken lines, rotating slowly, like a warning that breathed. None of the leaders recognized it. Except one. Archon Rillick of the old sphere stiffened. Her two hearts seemed to skip a beat. She stared at the symbol as if it was a ghost from her childhood. That mark," she whispered. Merrick turned toward her. "You know it." She hesitated. "I have seen it only once. In a forbidden archive. It belongs to an ancient enemy my people never defeated." A sharp chill passed across the room. The diplomats looked at each other, searching for answers in faces that held none. "What do they want?" Councilwoman Lyra asked. Rillick swallowed hard. "Survival. They consume systems, planets, life, anything with energy or movement." A leader from the Orion Pact stepped forward. "You mean?" "Yes," Rillick said. "Not a war. An erasure." The word hit everyone like a punch. Merrick finally stepped closer to the projection, his voice calm but firm. "Now you understand why we warned you. But you never believed us. You saw humans as loud, emotional beings. But humans react loudly only when danger is real." He slowly turned toward the 20 council members. "And now the danger is here." The cube dimmed, leaving the room in a soft, eerie hush. For the first time, no leader argued. No one questioned his words. No one tried to blame humans. They were too afraid to speak. But Merrick wasn't finished. "There is something else," he said. The lights flickered harder. A low vibration trembled through the floor. The chamber guards touched their weapons. "What now?" Vorka growled. Merrick looked toward the ceiling as the vibration grew louder. "They're here," he whispered. The chamber froze. Every leader felt the same icy fear climb their spine. The ones who ignored every warning now heard the sound they were never meant to hear. The beginning of something coming. Something close. Something unstoppable. The vibrations grew stronger. Dust drifted from the ceiling. The leaders of the Alliance raised their eyes as a deep, distant hum echoed across the entire citadel. It sounded like thousands of voices whispering at the same time. Cold, empty, without emotion. Ambassador Merrick did not move. He had heard this sound before. The council chamber doors burst open. Captain Rhea and her human security team rushed inside. "Ambassador," she said, breathing hard. "The outer patrol grid is gone. No signals. No survivors." The room erupted in panic. "Gone? How? What are we dealing with? This cannot be real." Merrick lifted his hand. "Quiet." His voice was calm, but his eyes held fire. Rhea stepped beside him. "The ships outside. They didn't explode. They just stopped. All systems went silent. Like the life was drained from them." Archon Rillick trembled. "They have reached us." A low screech rolled through the building, shaking the walls. Lights flickered and died. The entire city fell into darkness. Only the emergency red lights remained, flashing slowly like a heartbeat. The spiral symbol Merrick showed earlier appeared on every screen in the room. Not because someone activated it, because something else did. A chill ran through every council member. General Vorka whispered, "What does it mean?" Merrick kept his eyes on the glowing symbol. "It means they are speaking." "But we don't understand their language," Lyra cried. Merrick turned toward her. "No, but they understand ours." The humming stopped. A new sound replaced it. A voice, but not one. It was layered, distorted, as if millions of broken echoes were trying to speak at once. "We warned you." The words vibrated through the chamber, through every console, every wall, every bone. Captain Rhea took a step forward. "They are copying our speech?" Merrick shook his head slowly. "No. They are repeating the last message they intercepted from us." General Vorka swallowed hard. "What message?" Merrick whispered. "The one we sent when we first discovered them." Silence fell again. Then the voice returned. "We warned you. You should have stayed quiet." The council froze. Archon Rillick clutched her chest. "They do not see us as enemies. They see us as noise. We exist where they do not want any life to exist." Another shockwave hit the chamber. Screens exploded. The floor cracked. A cold wind rushed inside, but there was no broken window. Just energy. Dark, swirling, hungry energy. Captain Rhea stepped in front of Merrick, ready to protect him with her life. The swirling mass in the center of the chamber began to take shape. Not a creature. Not a machine. Something between both. Something ancient. Something that erased worlds. The leaders trembled. "What do they want from us?" Lyra whispered. The being tilted its shifting head. "Silence." The single word carried more weight than any threat. Merrick stepped forward, ignoring Rhea's hand pulling at his arm. "You came for us because we spoke," he said quietly. The being's form twisted in response. "You warned others." Now the room understood. The disappearances. The colonies. The system swallowed in quiet darkness. All were punished for trying to speak about them. The being raised an arm made of swirling energy, preparing to unleash something deadly. Captain Rhea shouted, "Merrick, get back!" But Merrick didn't move. He stared into the creature's shifting void-like eyes. "You want silence," he said. "Then hear this." He tapped his wristband. A deep pulse burst outward. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A signal. Across the galaxy, thousands of human ships woke up. Every hidden fleet. Every emergency asset. Every classified defense system humans kept in the dark. The creature froze. The humans had been preparing all along. Marek's voice was steady. "You erased our colonies. You swallowed our people. You wanted silence. But humans speak loudest when danger comes." The creature leaned closer, confused. Merrick stared right into the swirling mass. "Now you hear us." Outside the citadel, the sky filled with light as human warships dropped from jump space. Hundreds, thousands, a storm of fire and steel. The chamber shook as the leading ship locked weapons. Captain Rhea smirked. "It's our turn." Merrick looked at the alien leaders behind him. "Next time humans warn you," he said, "listen. A blinding flash filled the skies as the human fleet opened fire. The first battle of silence had begun. And this time, the galaxy wouldn't ignore the humans.